Hi, my name is Catherine. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you an earbuds case makeover. I decided to make this custom cover because I saw some quite pretty cases out there, but only ever for Apple products. This uses fabric tape, Mod Podge in the matte version, and very fine 400 grade sandpaper. I got this washi tape years ago in a pack of all these beautiful kind of greenish patterns. When you line up stripes of them, they don't quite match up pattern-wise, not like wallpaper does properly. But as you can see, I've done my best to make them sort of match in an aesthetic pleasing way. You could use any, strip of fabric for this, but what is so useful about this tape is that it has lightweight glue on the back of the tape. I think it's meant to be used for scrapbooking. The glue makes it easy to apply and then reposition and tweak the fabric into the right position. And because it's fabric, unlike paper, it has some give to it, so you can sort of ease it around the curves. So I think it would be much easier to do this with fabric than it would be with like paper washi tape. You could also use any other type of lightweight glue. I think the fact that it came pre-glued was just incredibly useful. The glue is certainly not strong enough to keep it going without assistance. So first we put on a layer of fabric and then a layer of Mod Podge. Then we sand, then another layer of watered down Mod Podge, sand a little bit more, and then it's a finished project. I'm hoping that these multiple layers of Mod Podge will give it enough structural integrity that it will withstand daily life, which is pretty hard going. It's going to get a lot of rubbing against the jeans fabric as it's living in my pocket. So I'll let you know how it turns out, if it's able to hold up to my lifestyle and to daily use. You can see on the back I have left a cutout where the hinge is and left a cutout where the reset button is. Probably unnecessary, but I knew if I didn't leave the reset button uncovered, I would forget that it existed. So to cover the Pixel Buds case, I was mentally referring back to like old air balloon designs where you sew silk into a globe shape in order to create the balloon. So that gives me a mental reference to the sort of curves I need to get. If you replicate this, when you do this, it's much easier to match the curves up at the top here than it is to go from the bottom up to the top. So start at the top, get those curves just right, and then ease it down and trim off around the edges where the lid is. I used my thumb to ease the fabric up to the edges of each other so it had as smooth as join as possible, and then I used my little scissors. Any flat surface like a pen or something would do to flatten it even more to give it the smoothest finish possible. The very light glue that it comes with makes it quite possible to reposition and move it around a bit at this stage. Matching up the pattern became an ever increasingly difficult challenge. So you can see that as I get to the corners, I just give up. All of the editing of this video was basically editing out the time I spent trimming and trimming, repositioning each individual piece of tape to get the most perfect, the smoothest fit possible. That was what took the most time on this project, but it was still incredibly satisfying. But it is incredibly finicky, delicate work. You cannot get distracted while you're doing this. What's really nice about doing it on the Pixel Buds case is it had this recessed black line where the case's body and lid meet, which makes it very convenient to feel where the lid is if it's in your pocket, and also makes it much easier to trim off the excess of the fabric as you get to the edges. I'm taking my Mod Podge and applying pretty thin first layer. I go all the way around the edges. This is what's going to hold it together, hopefully keep it attached to the very edge and stop it from peeling up, and basically give it a more rigid structure. After the first layer, you will feel that it is slightly textured. I thought it exaggerated the grain of the fabric slightly. There's no reason you couldn't just leave it like that and just give it a couple of coats, but I decided I wanted the smoothest possible finish, purely to make it feel as nice as possible in my palm. I have this level 400 sanding paper in my stash from a very old project. It's incredibly fine, and that felt about right. I do not want to risk getting through to the fabric itself. I don't want to risk making marks or wearing off any of the pattern, because then I'd have to start all over again. So I'm giving it a thorough but very, very gentle sand all the way around. I do recommend doing this by hand just with your fingers to accommodate the curves. I wouldn't recommend trying to use anything but perhaps a very soft sanding sponge if you can find something over, say, level 300 grit. Then I go back with a watered down mixture of Mod Podge. I'm using a wet brush. I love buying the little packs of kids' paintbrushes from IKEA. I find them really great for these little craft projects. I hope this is really helpful for you if you're looking to get a custom job on your own earbuds case. Tell me if you decide to give this one a go. And here we have the finished product. And I just love the way the pattern came together, and the flower pattern really reminds me of one of the dancing flower pieces from Disney's Fantasia. If you think of it, please tell me which one I'm thinking of. Thank you again for watching. Like and subscribe for more. I do all sorts of DIYs and crafty projects. Come and see what I'm up to next. Bye!